Yo, what's going on, guys? I got another video for y'all. We'll be looking at King Bong, Dark Side of King Bong. Let's check it out.
In the dark streets of Chicago, savages were constantly around. One of those savages was Davon Bennett, who would notoriously become known as King Von.
King
Von was a
Bong.
different type of dark. He would allegedly murder his rival, King
Are
Von.
these are these the people are these his victims?
Von was a
Or
different
is this just nah, these are just his connections.
type of dark. He would allegedly murder his rivals and commit other acts of violence.
Was that a fucked up individual? No, it was a demon living in Vaughn. Son was
Damn. Like the way they describe King Von, bro. Like I be seeing them TikToks of clips of these interviews and they just be describing him as a demon, like a full-on flesh-on demon. Like King Von was really about that life.
wrong with him. That's not human, man. You're not regular, man. Nigga was the devil, man.
But would then proceed to
Damn.
document his violence on social media, mocking the deaths and making clear how prideful he was about his savagery. As time would go on, he would become a successful rapper, and music would be a new way to document his violence in an artistic format, but still in a way that he was able to glorify his dark behavior. Von's life is marked by a series of traumatic events, environmental pressures, and personal choices that have shaped his psychological makeup. His alleged violence and actions have been documented many times by now, but this isn't one of those. This is a deep dive into the mind of King Von, to understand his psychology and explore his evil.
What would you like a body into it too? I'm sorry?
There are murder cases on his file that he beat. He gets released because the witnesses come up dead.
Some people need to be gone, bro, in order for shit to get better. He one of them.
Damn.
When trying to understand why someone is the way they are, a good place to explore is their childhood. Von was predominantly raised by his mother Natasha, who also had 3 other children. Von's dad, Walter Bennett, was in and out of prison and had made a name for himself
Yo, his dad actually, I can really see the resemblance of his dad more than his mom. No, actually, no, I can see a little bit of both actually.
in the streets. He went by the name Silk and had
But he
ties to
really
the
does
Chicago
look like
street
his
gang,
dad, though.
like Disciples or BDs. However, being in this life rarely comes to a good end, and Silk's end was deadly.
Yeah, sniper. I hit him with a sniper rifle. Hey, at the fucking skate rink, but you know, that's another story.
They hit him
Shot
with
dead
a wait. They hit him with a sniper
I hit him
rifle.
with a sniper rifle.
With a sniper rifle? They sniped his ass? Like Call of Duty? Like damn.
At the fucking skate rink, but you know, that's another story.
Shot dead with a sniper rifle, Von would lose his father at the age of 11 years old. This would not only hurt him, but create a bigger void in his childhood. Whether his dad was alive or not, him being in the streets a lot before his death deprived Von of a stable male role model, which can impact a child's development of identity, self-esteem, and understanding of societal norms. In fact, Von's stepfather was a drug dealer too, making drug money that could buy Von and his siblings nice shoes. So in terms of having someone to motivate him to get out the hood, that was void.
Nah, like for real, like people be living like we all have live in different situations, but like people who really be living in the hood, bro, like they do anything for money, like legit. Like sometimes the 9 to 5 isn't paying enough, and you gotta do this, like trap and like sell drugs. Like damn.
The streets would have been glorified in his young, impressionable eyes. Being raised in South Chicago, Von had a lot of bad influence
Oh,
around him. Violence was a daily occurrence, and he picked up on it fairly quickly.
I like being outside. One of the little boys that like sleeping up, just being outside all day, just doing bad shit. The gun, all that shit ain't kind of played to like what? Late 8th grade or some shit. 7th, 8th grade when everybody got to that point where you.
Bro, 7th to 8th grade, 7th to 8th grade, I was playing Fortnite. These guys in 7th to 8th grade were actually playing with real guns, like legit, jumping people in buses and stuff. Like damn.
You gotta hurt somebody or somebody trying to hurt you, you gotta protect yourself.
So from potentially as young as 13 years old, Von would bring guns into school for protection. Instead of being able to focus on education and developing career prospects, Von had to worry about staying alive and making it through the school system without ending up a statistic. It's easy for people in privileged positions to look down on gang members causing violence in the streets, but growing up in the ghetto with prevalent crime and poverty exposes individuals to violence, instability, and limited opportunities.
You don't have a choice. Either you're gonna become this type of person, or you're gonna get wiped out. Saying you come outside, you could be on all, get a job, be on the cool shit. You can't do it because they don't take it from you. You know what I'm saying? It's just different.
This environment can
Damn,
minimize
that's like no way to live. Like you can't get shit. Like people are just gonna rob you and stuff. Like imagining you paying your whole like imagine buying black cats. You spend your whole paycheck on black cats. You walking down the streets, and a motherfucker just comes up to you and just robs your shit. Just takes your hard-earned money, basically, because you basically spent all your hard. I don't know why you'll buy black cats, but it's your life. But you buy black cats and you get robbed from them. That's just
and desensitize individuals to violence. What is almost an inevitable outcome for someone in this environment is becoming affiliated with a gang. Around age 14 or 15, Von would move to the Parkway Gardens housing development. At the time, it would be known as Wick City, but after a member of the gang named O.D. Perry was murdered, they renamed it O Block in his memory. O Block would be the block called Tukaville, which, for the same reason as O Block, renamed their gang in remembrance of their murdered member, Tuka. Joining a gang can provide a sense of belonging and protection. As Von's life would go on, you'd notice he's very much a people's person. He'd love talking and love hanging out with his associates, so being in a gang gave him that sense of belonging, especially one where they get to share their interest in deviance. But being in a gang also immerses individuals further into a culture of violence and retribution. As mentioned, these rival gangs had both lost members, but it would continue to be a tit-for-tat beef, one that Von would inevitably have to involve himself.
These two parts were getting in beef. Like, damn, they're actually like really close to each other. Like, Tocqueville and Old Block are very, very, very close to each other, and you're telling me they had beef? Like, no wonder there was a lot of killings between them.
The close proximity between the two gangs and a lack of policing in the area made it easy to kill and have a lower chance of being caught. And
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. What are the police gonna do? Like, there's too many people, too many gangs out there. Like, what are the police really? Honestly, like at this point, like the whole state police needs to be involved for this to be stop or to be able to control this. But like, what is a cop gonna do? They're just gonna end up getting themselves killed.
or allowed members to have the potential of getting away with murder.
We're going to take you now to Chicago, where this past weekend at least 52 people were shot, 8 of them killed in a wave of violence across
52 were
past
shot?
weekend, at least 52 people were shot, 8 of them killed
Damn.
in a wave of violence across the city. What is going on there? Here's Chris Bury.
Von would first go to prison age 16 for armed robbery. Whilst in prison, Von would come
Where's
out
the
to
DA?
look for
What's the
friendly
DA
neighborhoods in
doing?
the streets. He would later exclaim how much this hurt him, saying these deaths changed his plans, and now he has to get his hands dirty and pull his mask out. So after losing these friends in 2012, Von would feel vengeful, and allegedly his violence would intensify. His own friend would later say,
In 2012, everybody couldn't hang with Von. If you was hanging with Von, you had to accept everything that came with Von. You had to accept that you was going to be in shootings, accept that it was going to be that, and you had to be with it.
However, something would happen that year that I believe really made Von go that one step further. On the night before his 18th birthday, Von and his friend Tony Dunn, known as White White, would go to a store. Von went in whilst White White waited outside. Von heard gunshots and ran outside, only to find his friend bleeding out on the floor. In the early hours of King Von's birthday, White White would be pronounced dead. Von would later say in his music that this event is what would turn him into a demon. Von losing close friends and even watching his friend die in the street was traumatic.
Yo, no wonder this man's like this. Like, people would just be, people just like push the narrative that it's just King Von's just a demon. But like, you gotta really look back and what led to him becoming this person that he is before he died. Like, legit, like he had to lose actual friends, a lot of friends, and maybe I don't know if he lost some family members, but definitely close people to him. He lost them, and that's just with that comes a lot of grieving and anger, and then you just become vengeful. I mean, yeah, no wonder he's like that.
Experiences that could have led to post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, characterized by emotional numbness, hyperarousal, and intrusive memories. All of these are particularly important symptoms to focus on, but the key factor in Von becoming a demon would have been the emotional numbness. After seeing something so brutal, he no longer had any emotional barrier to murder. It was just an action, and retaliation by murdering someone else was just something that needed to be done. Within the next 3 months, Von would allegedly be involved in 2 murders. On the 13th of October 2012, he alongside his right-hand man and best friend, T-Roy, would allegedly shoot and murder a 17-year-old boy named Modell. Not even 3 weeks later, on the morning of October 30th, 23-year-old Derek Johnson, known as Crack.
Damn, hold up.
Not even 3 weeks later, on the morning of October 30th,
Damn.
23-year-old Derek Johnson, known
They
as
were
Crack,
on a mission on October 2012. Damn.
would drop his little cousin to school before going to get coffee. Not long after, shots would ring out and Crack would be face down with 16 bullet holes in him, including his neck, chest,
16 bullet holes in him.
back,
Damn.
and face. Von once more was heavily implied as the main suspect for this murder. Now, murder for survival would be one thing, but Von being an avid user of the platform X, formerly known as Twitter, would be something that allows us to get some sort of insight into his mind, and these tweets would suggest that he got more than a feeling of survival from these murders. Following the deaths of both Modell and Crack, Von would tweet some sinister things. A week after Crack's murder, Von would tweet saying, "Acting tough, 6 shots up in your face." And the week after that, he would double
Damn.
down by saying, "Bang 6 times, all face." Although the crime report I looked at didn't state exact specifics, it does say Crack was shot 16 times, including the face. So 6 shots in the face would definitely be believable. Not only
Yo,
is
6 shots in the face, like you can't even identify him. Like at that point, I feel like the only way they were able to identify him is through DNA, because 6 shots in the face, you can't even identify. You can't even identify who that person is at that point.
it's more gruesome and violent than just shooting someone from afar, but the fact he wants to relive it by announcing it publicly shows how much Von enjoyed the brutality of this murder. At the start of November, he also tweeted, "Damn, Modell and Crack got killed in October. Who's gonna get killed in November? Stay tuned," suggesting he saw these murders as some sort of game or sport. I believe
What
the
the
reason he's
heck?
able to see these deaths this way is due to that desensitization to violence. Repeated exposure to violent events definitely may have desensitized Vaughn, making these violent acts feel justified. Also, with the added element of wanting revenge, he definitely didn't view these killings like a regular functioning human should. His self-identification as a demon after his friend's death indicates internalization of a violent persona, possibly as a coping mechanism or acceptance of a perceived destiny shaped by his environment. Also, the social media mockery is another part of his psyche that can't be ignored. Publicly mocking deceased rivals indicates a lack of empathy and possible antisocial personality disorder traits, such as disregard for others' feelings, deceitfulness, and hostility. ASPD is what is commonly known as psychopathy. Vaughn has a strong case for ASPD, as he never once displayed any signs of remorse or guilt for the actions he did. In fact, he showed enjoyment, pride, and excitement, like he wanted to keep doing it. Alongside this psychopathy, Vaughn using social media as an open diary to boast about violent acts suggests narcissistic traits, including a need for admiration and a sense of superiority. So by 18 years old, Vaughn was already a narcissistic psychopath with a heavy desensitization to murder, and these traits would only reinforce and worsen as time went on. In 2012, Vaughn would be imprisoned for unlawful possession of a firearm. He would remain in jail for over a year, a period spanning from November 2012 to February 2014. When he came out, the violence started back up again. I'm not going to focus too much on the particular details of his alleged victims, but this next one does need some context to really understand the evil inside. 17-year-old gangster disciple Jakira Barnes, known as K.I., was a legendary figure in Chicago gang history. The Chicago Sun-Times referred to her as a female assassin. She was allegedly heavily involved in the killing of O.D. Perry, so her beef with O-Block and Vaughn was intense. However, Vaughn would
Oh, damn, really?
heavily involved in the killing of O.D. Perry. Chicago Sun-Times referred to her as a female assassin. She was allegedly heavily involved in the killing of O.D. Perry, so her beef with O-Block and Vaughn was intense. However, Vaughn would treat K.I. very differently to his male rivals.
Me getting jealous? Wait, I ain't real enough for you. You gotta float with other motherfuckers and shit behind me. Lamo, I can't tweak with you cause when you tweak, bro. Does this man want her? Like what?
He would tweet her constantly and act as though he was flirting with her. However,
Oh, yeah.
it's highly probable that he never actually liked her, but was probably trying to manipulate her so she
Oh, damn. He's using them tactics. Like he's trying to get with her to set her up. Damn.
could let her guard down, allowing him to kill her. He would say, "I think I love you," and call her wifey multiple times. Someone years later also allegedly hacked her Twitter account and posted her DMs with Vaughn, and he was asking to sleep with her. This was prior to him
Oh, I'm changing grade. Wait, you up a grade? I wanna know. I can't even freaking read the highlight part. You got me fucked up, man. Uh, that doesn't with me. I like you for real, straight up. When all this is over with, I'ma have you. Oh, where you at, girl? Shit, you boring as hell.
going to
Damn.
jail, but when he got out, things got more hostile.
She was not fucking with him. She was not fucking with him.
Vaughn had lost a friend whilst in prison called J Money and would come out to K.I. mocking his death on Twitter, a taste of his own medicine. She even tweeted that if she could, she'd dig J Money up and shoot him again. Vaughn would stop tweeting her for a couple months, and on April 11th,
She asked to die. I'm gonna be honest. She asked to die. This seeing someone's dead homie like that and saying I'll dig up the grave and shoot him again. She's asking to die.
2014, K.I. would be standing on a porch before being gunned down. She would be shot 9 times and be pronounced dead 2 hours later. Vaughn would be picked up by the police later that month, but he was never formally charged with K.I.'s murder. The police were unable to charge him due to
What are the cops doing? Like I don't. The cops in Chicago just don't care at this point. I feel like there's a conspiracy going around that they just let them out. Like they just let killers out to kill each other. Like I mean that's a theory I heard. I don't know if it's true, but these cops are terrible in Chicago. Damn.
inconsistencies with
The
witness
detectives
statements.
should get
However, many
fired.
years later in 2021, police finally revealed the murder was indeed Vaughn's doing. Again, following this murder, Vaughn's mockery using social media will continue, tweeting, "I see people aren't going to get the picture till they get put in a frame," with a laughing emoji, which doesn't seem like the worst thing, but it becomes more sinister when you find out that was one of K.I.'s final tweets a week prior. After getting released by the police who failed to charge him with this murder, he tweeted, "Beating bodies ain't no going to prison," which fed his narcissism and made him feel invincible. And Vaughn would prove how invincible he truly felt years later. Due to K.I.'s notoriety, allegedly killing up to 17 people as a female gang member, a documentary was being made about her. Due to an oversight from the production team or just a lack of research, they decided to ask King Von himself to be a part of the documentary and to speak on his relationship with K.I., not knowing that Von was her murderer. Von jokes about how he wanted to sleep with her, occasionally grinning, as the murder potentially replays in his mind. Being in this documentary would have boosted his narcissism, knowing he wasn't just
Damn. Damn. He killed his op. He killed his op basically. And then, bro, imagine that. Your op kills you and then shows up in your documentary talking about you, talking about like how you were close and stuff. Like damn well knowing that he's the one who killed you. That is crazy.
Getting away with murder, but was being able to mock it on a bigger scale. In Von's mind, impunity was constantly reinforced. This is the ability to act with exemption from punishments, losses, or other negative consequences for his actions. Repeatedly evading legal consequences may reinforce his belief in him being untouchable, making risky and criminal behaviors something he'd want to keep pursuing. In fact, the same month he was released for the KI murder, he would murder again. On the 29th of May 2014, a birthday party would be going on that Von attended. It stated that Von was chatting up other party guests until he spotted two rival gang members at the house and took off. Time went by, and later on, one of Von's rivals looked up and saw Von with an associate approaching the house, and the two of them fled. Von chased them whilst firing his gun, hitting both of them, but they got away. When the smoke had cleared, Malcolm Stuckey, a 19-year-old that wasn't one of Von's rivals, was face down on the grass between the sidewalk and street. He had been shot 4 times, including one to the head, and would be pronounced dead at the scene. The reason this is important is because although Von almost certainly did this murder, he would never brag about it or make fun of it on social media. This shows us that Von's satisfaction only comes from making his rivals lose their friends. He enjoys brutally taking something from them, and not just murder in and of itself. Von would remain in jail for this murder awaiting trial. He was brutally taking something.
Damn, just an innocent bystander, bro. Literally an innocent bystander, bro. Like legit, y'all gotta be careful where you go to, cause you go to the wrong place, wrong time, it's over like that, an instinct like that.
Satisfaction only comes from making his rivals lose their friends. He enjoys brutally taking something from them, and not just murder in and of itself. Von would remain in jail for this murder awaiting trial, from June 2014 to December 2017. 3.5 years in jail. However, by some powers, he managed to escape long-term punishment. Von's accomplice in the
Yo, he got away with that too. Well, he served 3 years, but damn, from some power, he got away with that.
shooting would back out of his deal with the courts last minute, and in a crazy turn of events, Von would get away with this murder as they had no more strong witnesses willing to testify against him. I don't even think it needs to be stated how much this would have been a driving force for his grandiosity and narcissism, as down the line he would continue to be braggadocious about what he's done in the streets, but upgrading from Twitter to a more artistic format. After coming out of prison, he seemed to have a particularly strong bond with his friend from young,
Lil Durk,
Banks, known as Lil Durk. Durk also came up in Southside Chicago, but had made it out using music. Durk knew about the work that Von had done in the streets, and knew that telling these stories would appease music fans in that genre. So with Durk's encouragement, Von picked up a mic and started rapping. Von was used to bragging about his street work via Twitter, so he quickly became accustomed to spilling his truth into his raps, saying lines like, "Caught a body, beat that body, catch some more," which could be a reference to any.
Yo, that's actually crazy. These rappers deadass be snitching on themselves and still get away with it. Like that's just mind blowing.
Alleged murders, even some I haven't covered. In fact, Von would gloat about being 3 murders away from having double digits, which really makes you question how dark he could have been, and his work in the streets has even coined him with the label of a serial killer. A serial killer is a person who murders 3 or more people, check, with the killings taking place over a significant period of time in separate events, check. Their psychological gratification is the motivation for the killings. The motives of the serial killers can include anger, thrill-seeking, financial gain, or attention-seeking. Von's motives could have been any of these. The anger from getting revenge for his murdered friends, the thrill-seeking if these murders are just a progression of his deviance as a child, or the attention-seeking, as even when he wasn't a music artist, he would still use social media to gain street cred and a level of notoriety for his
he
violence.
checks all the
As surprising
boxes.
as it may sound to have a serial killer in the modern day, let alone one that became a famous music artist, this label may actually be true for Von. Starting a music career provided an outlet for his experiences, but he continued to glorify violence in his lyrics, possibly making this the way to gratify his criminal activities and status, without having to continue the risk of getting caught in the streets. He gained a big audience for his gritty lyrics and depiction of the realism of being a killer in the streets, and this allowed him to be put on a big pedestal for these acts of evil. Von's success in music didn't stop his deviance, however, but from what I've researched, it stopped him murdering directly. In August 2020, a rival of his named FBG Duck, who also made music, was gunned down in Chicago in front of a designer store. Although Von wasn't physically there committing the murder, he allegedly put a $100,000 bounty on his head, using his newfound music money. This further proves that Von's satisfaction comes from seeing his rivals die, more than the act of killing itself. Von felt on top of the world. In October that year, he put out a tweet saying, "Everything you out there doing in the streets, I did it times 10 and got away with it. I got caught for it, got out again, and did it some more. Then I got rich and took care of everything and everybody. We'll never be equal." He clearly felt
No. Yo, he got away with. Yo, he did 10 times worse than any other gangster, and he got away with it. He got away with every killing, and he got rich off that shit. Like he started rapping about that, and like literally, like Crazy Story Part 1, 2, 3. Like a week later, my house. No, like I forgot how the song goes, but yo, he really made money off this shit. Yeah, we are not equal. Like damn, I'm making money off this shit. Damn.
super prideful that he'd done so much and believed that he was the top guy in the game, but they say to never be too comfortable at the top. Von had a minor beef with another artist named NBA Youngboy, who had an artist signed under him named Quando Rondo, and amongst the street nature, an associate of an op is also an op, so Von and Quando didn't like each other. One day after one of Von's shows, he would be outside a club and see Quando, and within seconds, he'd swing at him and start a fight. However, Quando's friend Lil Tim would hop out of the vehicle and shoot Von. Von had been hit multiple times and would later be pronounced dead.
Damn.
Von's psychological profile is complex, shaped by early trauma, environmental factors, and individual choices. His behavior suggests the presence of antisocial personality disorder, characterized by a pervasive pattern of disregard for the rights of others and societal norms. The combination of a traumatic upbringing, lack of positive role models, reinforcement of violent behaviors, and an absence of legal repercussions created a perfect storm for the development of his criminal identity. The only time Von ever showed vulnerability was upon learning about his best friend's death while he was incarcerated. Von was imprisoned awaiting trial after his murder of Malcolm Stuckey, and during that time, his best friend and right-hand man T-Roy, who Von had committed a lot of these violent acts with, was shot and killed in a shop. Von would admit that upon hearing about T-Roy's death, he was in tears.
This my dog. When they get my dog, I was locked up. Kill me, I broke down. I ain't cried so long.
His admission of crying indicates that he was capable of deep emotional connections, albeit limited to a select few. It was the same emotions that he channeled after the losses of his other friends to turn to killing as revenge. Despite these moments of grief, he did not regret his involvement in the street life.
Wait, what does this lyric say? Hold up.
To turn to killing.
2012, if you wanna be a I lost O and Patan. They killed me. See what that's the change in plans now. All that shit I said in jail ain't the plan now. Gotta get my hands dirty, pull that mask out. Yo, bro, yo, he was spinning. He was spinning. I'm not gonna lie. He was spinning.
As revenge. Despite these moments of grief, he did not regret his involvement in the street life. This suggests a compartmentalization of his emotions, where he could experience personal loss without reassessing his lifestyle choices. His music career, which celebrated and glorified his violent actions, not only reinforced him being dark and twisted, but also potentially influenced others, perpetuating the cycle within his community. In the end, Von was only ever bound for his actions to have consequences, and in the eyes of some, he survived way longer than he should have.
That was the Dark Mind of King Von. I'm gonna put the original video down in the description if y'all want to check it out. Also, I just forgot some latest news just happened today on Little Dirt. Hold up. See, before this phone dies 1%. Come on, lower battery mode. Actually, let me look it up here. Lil Dirt. Dirt. Little Dirt. Let me pull up the source. He just got arrested for alleged murder. Lil Dirt picked up in the U.S. Marshal was involved? Damn. The U.S. Marshal in Florida on Thursday, October 24th, according to the Chicago Times, Dirt is still in Broward County custody of Friday morning. His arrest also happened the same day. The California prosecutor begged several other men of murder for a high apply against rapper Quandel. Oh, wait, this is the same rapper the video was talking about. Quandel Rondo. Did this man get murdered? Wait, is Quandel Rondo dead?
February 8th,
Is this man
1996.
This is Youngboy's man. Is he dead? It is alive. Okay, he's still alive. He's still alive. Think so. For a high power against rapper. Damn. Yo, Dirk is really trying to stop for Vaughn. Like, he really about to stop for Vaughn. And this is like recently too. This happened like 2 days ago. Like, the story still continues, bro. Like, King Von still affects people's life to this day. Well, comment down below if y'all think of the video. I'll catch y'all later. Peace. Yes.